Olufemi, you mentioned a few things. You mentioned private equity, venture capital. Do you think we should be getting ready from the regulatory side of things for cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, startups, what have you, to have a brand new set of investors who are young, dynamic, and good to go? Do you think we also need to have new regulations around an incubation for them, some companies that are coming up? What sectors do you think we will find them and that we should grab them as quickly as possible, reinventing this market?
So here is a simple analysis. Most of the times your capital markets reflects your economy. So if you take the sectors within your GDP as you're broken down to about 36 sectors and you look at your 12 sectors in your capital market, you want to draw a nexus between those growth areas of the economy and those companies coming up. If you take a simple analysis of companies that have, they were top in 2008, almost 10 years ago, August 9 to date, and you look at companies that are top in the US market and the Dow Jones specifically, with the FTSE, with the CAC, with the Kenya Stock Exchange, with the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, and with the Nigerian Stock Exchange, you will find out that you basically still have almost the same set of companies in the Nigerian Stock Exchange still at the top in there, which tells you that there is basically no nexus between your economy and your market. Because what has happened in most of these economies is there's been a significant shift. For factor-driven economies like Nigeria, which relies on oil and on skilled labor, you will find that that situation should be expected. But if you were to compare Nigeria within the emerging economies that is comparable to itself, you will find out that one of the few things they've done is that there are new businesses which align with the new market opportunities, basically in technology, within the whole value chain of technology, specifically fintech, in areas of creative arts, where you find places like India doing as well, where you find places like, I think India specifically comes to mind, and Kenya tries, but it's not yet there. So the question is this. I do believe the Nigerian Stock Exchange is already thinking in some way around this area. Through the FinTech Association, I learned that there is a talk around trying to find a small group of people who can be put around the legal table, but not necessarily listed, but in such ways that they can qualify them in terms of corporate governance, in terms of structure, in terms of ability for them to be able to attract the funding they require to take them to the next level. Don't forget that Nigeria, with all the interest in technology, is still is at the consuming end of the value chain. There are no leading products, there are no leading providers, there are no leading solution providers. And with all the talk around innovation, around fintech, you find generic Me-Too products. So there's quite a number of work to be done in that space. And we're hoping that, I'm not going to hold government accountable for this, I'll just hold us ourselves responsible, that the market needs to make a better case to invest a little bit more in research and make a better case for government to show the economic value of, for example, holding us down in terms of making a decision around how we want to approach blockchain, for example.
What do you think is the biggest news for you this week we should focus on? Is it the budget? Is it the BVN battle? Or what is it? Is it the Diamond Bank conference call? What are you looking for?
I'm looking at budget and I'm looking at oil prices.
Oil prices is $62. You shouldn't be looking for any other fuel price unless you're looking for 100.
Well, the question is, how do our policymakers respond to this, improvements in oil price, and how does the market respond to it? Last week, sentiment was very bullish in the equity markets, partly driven by the information, in the global markets regarding oil, and we expect a similar performance this week. Although, what comes of the budget presentation tomorrow by President Muhammadu Buhari could also be a sentiment driver to look out for in the week.
Okay. So Omotola is looking for something in the budget presentation tomorrow at the National Assembly by the President. Olufemi Awoyemi from ProShare, what are you looking for? What are you looking at?
For me, Tola is very correct. There are two things. The budget and oil prices are two key indicators. One, because with the Nigerian oil price, because you begin to see that yield on bonds are dropping, I think 18 point something. From 20, which basically means that the sentiments from rating agencies and analysts and the feedback is that cross-border investors may begin to maybe feeling bearish, even though the sentiments by the governor of Central Bank is very high. The Minister of Finance spoke all the right things. And the reasons are very clear, because any significant drop in oil prices or any decision from the Fed may impact upon the ability for these people. So we are looking at what signaling effects come out from the budget, not so much the numbers, the signaling effect that comes out. But given what is in the MTF, there's not much room to expect a significant change. But it's the tone and the signaling effect that comes, especially because when you have a situation of capital controls, multiple exchange rates, the NAFEX trading windows, which only until recently in April began to be stable and we have convergence somehow, any significant change in oil prices would basically affect all the positives that we've gained so far.
Femi, conclusively, what would you like to hear from the president as far as the budget is concerned, 2018, and perhaps some clarity as far as 2017 budget work in progress?
No, I just need to get a signal that this government will be a little bit more pro-business than it has been up to now.
You're a businessman. That's a nice way to put it. Omotola Abimbola, what would you like to see specifically as far as the budget is presentation tomorrow?
I want to see the president talk about the federal government borrowing plans, as well as issues regarding debt service and burden. How do we put Nigeria ahead of this debt servicing burden that is actually constraining on fiscal balance?
Okay, thank you, Omotola Abimbola. We appreciate your time being here. Olufemi Awoyemi, the Reinventing Market series continues. We didn't have much time today to talk about the market memorandum and the bull in the China shop. You need to dust some of those archival materials behind you up.
We'll do.
You think we need another bull in the China shop?
Yeah, the report will be out soon.
Very interesting. Looking forward. Thank you so much for being here, you gentlemen, and everyone who's been part of the program. This is Your Business Morning, today, Monday, November the 6th. Let's get back tomorrow, the 7th, again, and perhaps by this time, we'll all be all ears listening to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria with the Budget 2018 presentation. Bye for now. I'll see you tomorrow.